Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. At any time that you're watching our show, bienvenidos a Business Matter with Laura Nowlan. I would like to first thank our sponsor, CS Now Staffing. You can get a hold of them through 702-902-2448. Also, I would like to give a big shout out to our new sponsor. Her name is Andrea Michelle Munoz. She is the one, the creativity behind the scenes, actually putting this show together. I hope you love this set. It's absolutely fabulous, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, wow. And so her company is Creativa Consulting. Her number is 702-296-6242. So make sure that you reach out to her and have her also create your podcast and help you with your social media. So today our guest is a friend. Her name is Valeria Gurr. So welcome, Valeria. Thank you so much for taking time to meet with me today. I really do appreciate it. And remember, this is a conversation. There's a bunch of people eavesdropping, okay, on the show, but just welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here with you today in your show.
No, thank you. So first, let's get started with, where was Valeria born? How did you get to Las Vegas, Nevada? What's that journey been like?
Oh my goodness, what a journey has been. So I immigrated to the U.S. about 15, 16 years ago. I came from Chile, from the south, a little tiny town. Well, I call it town now, but it felt big when I was, growing up there in Concepcion. And I, like, the education system in Chile is not the best.
Okay.
Just like in the U.S.
Yes.
Shocking. And I wanted to pursue bigger dreams. I didn't feel like I could pursue those dreams in Chile. I was in a classroom setting with like 40 kids. Access to the university at the university level was very challenging unless you actually come from privilege, and I didn't.
Okay.
So when I came to the U.S., I was like, well, this is the land of opportunity if you work hard. And I couldn't believe that we actually had student loans, things that like people sometimes complain about and take for granted.
Right.
They were the opening door for me to actually go to higher education here in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I pursue a master's degree in journalism and media studies and a PhD in public affairs and education policy, which I have to defend next week,
okay,
by the way. So after 11 years of school and I reflecting in my journey to coming to the U.S., what a journey has been. I came here like many others. I work in a casino, like making cakes. I fall in love with cheesecake.
Oh, yes.
Bad decision. And macadamia nuts cookies. Those were like my absolute favorite. And I realized if I stayed there, my American dream was going to be broken. And I wasn't going to be able to access to the life that I wanted to have or like to even, give access to other kids to the lives that they deserve to have. So I quickly decided to start going back to school. I already had a bachelor's degree, but my bachelor's degree wasn't valid in the U.S., so I have to figure it out, like many do.
Starting all over again with your education.
Yes. So it wasn't until I was 30 that I had my first professional job in the U.S. I remember that day with so much excitement. I was going in my little car, making nothing, by the way. Driving to work, but it was just the beginning of a new era, and it's been more than a decade now from that journey. And wow, like I don't regret going to college. I think it was like if I would have been born here, probably would have a business or do something else. But it was an eye-opening experience, really opened doors, and I believe that that's the way in many different cases to success out of poverty and helps many, many different people to be able to have a professional job in the United States.
Was that your master's that you completed?
Yeah, so
That's what I thought I saw.
Yeah, so I completed my master's in journalism and media study, but then clearly didn't get enough. And I realized that only like 1% of Latinos have a PhD. And many of these policy discussions that involve Latinos had people with fancy titles, and there's no representation for us.
Right.
So I wanted to put a face to the Latino community and become Dr. Gurr, which is soon to come.
Yeah.
Next week, probably.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Congratulations. Wow. You know, you're right. There's very few of us that even finish our education, right?
Yeah.
And most definitely a master's degree or a PhD. So congratulations.
Thank you. Has been not easy, and
Right.
like the system is sometimes not made for us. Like it's I've been in a school for total, no, just one. But this is my third degree, 11 years now.
Oh, wow.
Born a student.
Right.
But like excited, happy. Has been a long journey. My husband and my son are very proud, and I definitely couldn't have made it this far without them.
And so then with your education, then what did you actually pursue with it, right?
So when I just graduated from college, I knew nothing about the educational system. I only knew, based out of my own personal story, like my mom grew up in a farm. She had 9 sisters, and she didn't have, like, she was not allowed to go to school, not even at the elementary level. They sent her to work as a maid. And it was very challenging for me to watch that and see somebody that always felt like she was less than. So that, inspired me to want to go to school and not like teach others that you can be who, regardless of where you come from, you can be anything you want to.
Right.
But I went to work for the teachers union, thinking that this organization was in the business of helping students. Yeah, I didn't know that at the time.
Okay.
Thinking that this organization was in the business of helping teachers and their rights and their salary conditions, because like I value teachers, and I think that we have done a poor job at helping them.
I agree.
And serving them. So I went to work for them for 2 years, and it was an eye-opening experience. I ended up learning that this organization was more in the business of holding power, and they were not really interested in the voice of the community, parents or students. Mostly, like, the only discussions they had for the last 15 years I lived here is just about money, more money, and how do we get more money.
Right.
And every single cycle.
Money.
And more money. And every single cycle, they come with the same discussion, and they don't talk about accountability, how we're going to help the students. So I left. It was the hardest thing I ever done, because I thought that I was going to stay in this organization helping fix the educational system in our state that is behind, and it continues to be behind. We're like one of the worst states, and when we were like in dead last, they just lowered the expectations so that we can be 49.
Right.
Hello. So lower expectations, zero accountability. They don't listen to the community. They don't listen to parents, and they just want to hold the monopoly. So I left. Hard decision to make. I was young. I was afraid. I didn't know anybody else, and I was like, what do I do with my life now?
Right.
I went to work at the university, the Nevada Institute for Research and Policy. I stayed there about 2 years. I had an immense opportunity to go see the schools, and it was eye-opening. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was like this is like a third world. Like the schools in North Las Vegas were under horrific conditions, and they were kids that looked like me. And I was sad to watch. I was like, they were like in a rush. Like the kids were like shoveling their food in their in their bags, because they don't even let them eat like on time. Like they don't give them time to relax. They have to like do everything really, really fast. Go. And the reason why that happens is because it's overcrowded, not because they wanted to make it happen, but teachers have classroom settings that are 35 to 40 students. Who can teach under those conditions, right?
Right.
And that's how I discovered school choice. I was at the university working to prevent child abuse, neglect, and maltreatment, and giving classes to minority families. And I got to see all the problems that they had, and it was an eye-opening experience. I feel like I've been living in a bubble, and it was time to wake up.
Right.
So I started helping there was like a bunch of different people at the time in 2015 trying to bring school choice initiatives. And I started as a volunteer. I didn't know what a school choice was, which is the right to give families access to a quality education regardless of where you come from. I didn't expect that I was going to fall in love with the issue the way I did. And I was lucky enough to, so I called like an organization that was at the time out of DC. And I said, hey, my name is Valeria. I want to work for you. And they were like, who are you? And like that, right? And we went back and forth. Like I started like with a contract with them. I had a little contract working. And then they finally decided to hire me full time. And I never left. I never looked back. I love what I do. I feel blessed that I can pursue my passion and that I have a voice in my organization on how we should do this. And I've been fighting here in my home state, but also at the national level for school choice measures all across the country now.
That's when we met.
Yes.
Because I co-founded Nevada Hispanic Business Group in January of 2015.
That's when we met. And
we met.
Yeah.
Yes. And wow, where we're at now, right? Because now we have homeschool, which is very huge.
Yeah.
I will tell you that my oldest grandson, he's been homeschooled. He is 9 years old, already in 5th grade.
Wow.
Okay? Almost entering 6th grade. But it's because he's being homeschooled. Because if he would have been in the regular school system, there's no way.
No, like the statistics here show that all our kids are behind. No, in one grade level, in every single grade level, they're not proficient in math and reading. And I'm just talking about the statistics from our state data. If you look at the national data, it shows that Hispanic kids are behind as much as 2 years in math and reading. And it is unfortunate, and in many cases, parents don't know. They simply think that they might be sending the school to the right fit, and they don't know what their kids are going through. I hear everything. The good, the bad, the really bad. Like 2 weeks ago, a mom called me. She basically said her kid got beaten at the school. And the school district let the other kid go. So they reprimanded, and the other kid, got suspended. But the classmates were really angry that they suspended the other kid, so they continued bullying her child. Her child started having a panic attack.
Right.
And the mom said, I don't know what to do. She's begging me and crying and having anxiety, not wanting to go to the school. So I talked to my husband and I said, I'm not going to send her because I never seen her melting down like this, and I feel like I should listen. And she called me doubting that, asking herself, do you think I'm right? And I said, absolutely, Mom. I said, if you think that your kid shouldn't come back, I am glad that you made that decision. She shouldn't come back.
Right.
She says, I have to work. I work 2 jobs. What should I do? And I said, we're going to look for options until we find one. It took 2 weeks to do it. Her kid had to stay at the school district in the 2 weeks, couldn't offer her a transfer, a solution, give her a phone call or an email. And we pay tax dollar money for this customer service. So it was her and I and other moms all looking for options until we found one. And her kid is going now to a charter school. Very, very happy. I called the principal of that school and let her know what that kid went through so they could keep an eye on her.
Yes.
And this mom was really grateful, but those are the stories I hear in the lower income areas. And it can happen anywhere. It can happen in a charter, it can happen in a private. And it's all about choice. It's all about utilizing what's best for your kids, and it can be because of that. But also we have gifted students that get bored, that they go to school and they are not challenged enough, and we lose them through the cracks. They start getting in trouble, and we do nothing about that. So
right. So when my grandson, when he turned 5 and they were going to put him in regular school, I remember her enlisting him. He didn't even last a week. Because at that time, it was during COVID, and she can literally see on the screen the disaster that was happening behind the scenes. And I remember my daughter saying, there's no way I can put my kid here. There's no way he's going to learn. This is not manageable. The things that I'm seeing on the screen don't make any sense. And so she took control of his education and said, I'm going to educate him. By then, since he was little, he already knew sign language before he could actually speak. But it was because the parents were also willing to teach the child, right?
Yeah, and it takes time, right?
It does.
No every parent, for example, I work in the field of education. I know that I can homeschool. No, because I don't want to. I am not a great teacher. My husband, on the other hand, he's phenomenal. He just has fun. So I'm like, okay, I do the reading. I do the reading. I will I will book like the extracurriculum activities.
Yes.
But I have zero patience. So not every parent can do it.
Right.
And if it was the right fit for my family, I would totally do it. I think it's a great option. Nevada is the home of micro schools. For the ones that are listening and don't know what a homeschool is, it's micro schools. Micro schools is a term that it was born after the pandemic. It's literally a tiny school with a teacher. It can be 2 kids, 3 kids, 4 kids, 5 kids. And we have almost like 90 micro schools. I went to tour them. They operate out of homes. They operate out of like little rental places. And it's all for the kids that don't fit the traditional system. They want to be left alone. They are like afraid that the government will come and regulate them, and then they will be against them. So like they just, and they're operating and that's not a homeschool. It's a different form. Like the parents can go still to work if they want to, or they can stay at the micro school. But they have different forms, like Montessori style, learning how to do trades, learning languages, learning sports, and it is the most revolutionary thing I ever seen. And kids are thriving under, a lot of kids are thriving under the system. The school that my child goes to is a private school. It's a bilingual school.
Nice.
For hyperactive kids like mine. 45 minutes per subject. No more than 16 is the maximum per classroom. And he learns Spanish, English, math, violin, how to swim, how to act, how to public speak, many different things that he can use to become a worldwide leader. And I love it. And
totally, yes.
And
yes.
he leaves the house running every morning. Bye. Sometimes I'm like, honey, you're sick. I think you should stay. He's like, I'm absolutely fine. I think I should go.
I can't miss school.
Exactly.
So when that was all happening, I thought, wow, I was so blessed to be able to give my daughter the opportunity to educate my grandson by allowing her to work virtually. So she works virtually. She's actually my VP of operations for CS Now Staffing. And I remember going to my pastor and saying, how can we do this for other kids in our church? On north side of Las Vegas at Calvary Chapel, Meadow Mesa. And I said, what if we launch a class on Saturday with the vision that we're going to be able to launch a school out of here? So then the Way program was born. The first Saturday of every month, we take in the kids from noon till 3 o'clock. They learn the Pledge of Allegiance. They learn how to pray. And then they get to break bread together. And they get to learn about the Bible. And then we help them with their schoolwork. Okay?
That's amazing. So it's support for the parents too.
Totally. And the parents can come and just drop them off and leave. So here we are, moving along on this. A year after, the Kingdom Academy was born. It was basically getting these kids together, getting the parents together, and then the school was actually born at our church.
Oh, that's amazing.
So I think there's probably about close to almost 30 students now there.
Wow.
The parents do participate, right? But that's how we were able to help and bless other families. But it was having that vision, right? Following your calling of what you're supposed to do. There's not that many people like you, Valeria, in the world. There's not that many people like you in Las Vegas, Nevada, who's willing to lead this education revolution. It really is. Because I'm in staffing. I've been in staffing here for the last 18 years. I've seen such a big, dramatic change on people coming in and applying for work.
Yeah.
Because of our school system,
it's
what
horrific.
It's done to them.
Yeah.
It's like they come in like they're expecting something. They want to get paid high wages, but yet they're not educated. They're more, they're studying things that I'm like, what are you going to do with this degree? How are you going to get a job with that type of a degree or education? I just think that right now as a country, we're truly failing.
Oh, we
Our
are.
kids totally failing them.
We are, and I hope, I'm, excited for change. I think we all are.
Yes.
We're excited for change, and I think Latinos have I mean, waking up nationwide this is not just a phenomenon here in Nevada. We saw it in Texas. Okay, so let me tell you about Texas.
Yes, please.
Texas, Governor Abbott has been trying to pass school choice for a long time. I was there last session. We tried really hard to pass it. I went to testify. All the parents came, people crying, and the teachers
begging for our tax dollars to be used correctly. Yes, it's horrible.
The teachers union had a lot of people against it. Even people like even Republicans against it, which are supposedly be for a school choice, and for the majority are. But in Texas, they got involved and pursued form alliances, and it was really, really difficult. And what ended up happening there is he basically said, and elected officials say a lot of things, right? They love to say things. He said, whoever doesn't vote for this, I'm going to make sure you get unelected next session.
That's
for next
right.
section.
Okay.
He said it, but he followed through. So he went, I never seen a governor like this proactive. He went to every single community, talk about a school choice. He visited all the schools. He grabbed all his candidates, and he said, these are the guys that are going to give you change for, in the educational system. Texas, very similar statistics than Nevada. Kids are falling behind. Parents want options. Same story, just different state.
Yes.
Aggressive. So he was aggressive. He ran on this issue. The majority of the things that he talked about, this was the biggest issue he ran on. And everybody was like, this is a test. We'll see if their candidates win. Every single one won.
Yes.
Now he has more votes than he needs. So he is going to push for a school choice. I call Texas a Latino state. We saw the same things in Florida. We saw the same thing in Nevada and Arizona. A lot of people voted for the current president simply because they want change, and they want. And the American dream is broken. And you, as a business owner and a leader, that the economy, there's a tie line between the economy and education. There is no access to the American dream with those two things. So you can't put food in your table, and if you can't educate your kids, and you cannot thrive. We came to the United States because we left our countries because they were not giving us what we needed to be successful. So Latinos were listen, we can you can talk all day long about the Latino vote and however you want us to look like, but I am telling you, as a first generation American, I didn't came to the U.S. to be lame. I came to break the generational cycle that I couldn't break in my own country. My mom didn't know how to read, and I'm giving the best I can to my kid, working my butt off, sorry the language, so he can be successful. And I think a lot of people relates to that, and this election was a result of that. We want our kids to be better. We want to be better, and if we cannot thrive, it's time for change. So I'm excited. There is a federal bill, and that would bring 1 million scholarships for states that don't have a school choice, and for any state. Is a nationwide federal policy. It's a tax credit like the program that we have here in Nevada.
Okay.
But what it will do is states that we cannot pass it, like Nevada is one of them. The unions are heavily against it. The Democrats vote with the union. The union tells them what to do. And I know there is support, but we have not been able to get it across the finish line. The governor tried really hard last cycle. He couldn't get it passed either. And this federal proposal could come to Nevada and could come to states like California, Colorado, or Nebraska that also been waiting for school choice programs that still don't have them. So it is exciting for all the other states that already have them. It will go on top of what they have. But for states that have nothing, it would bring needed change. So I am hopeful that this is coming soon. Our community can keep waiting. Our kids cannot continue being bullied, left behind with lower expectations. Lower expectations only give us lowered results.
And so if we could help you, what type of plea would you have to anyone who's listening?
Okay. Thank you for that. If you are listening today, I ask you to contact your state representatives. Invite them for coffee. Sometimes we take for granted and we think that they are inaccessible to us. But in this state, it's very simple to contact them. All you have to do is to the Nevada Legislature website. In the Senate and Assembly, you will find their phone numbers You will find their emails, and this is a perfect time before they leave to Carson City.
Right before, because
Yes.
when they're in Carson City,
They
it's
have no time.
a mess.
They don't
It's
have
a
time.
mess.
So like before they leave, have a conversation with them. Sometimes they don't hear from anyone.
Right.
And we think that only the interest groups should contact them. Like, start with yourself. Make a phone call, tell them, hey, we want to see a school choice. And if you are listening and you don't have kids, do it for your grandkids. Do it for your friends that have kids. Do it for the kids in your community. Because I hear that, well, I want to help, but my kids are already grown. Like help us in the community, because we're seeing so many kids that are being neglected, that are getting abused by the system, and nobody does anything. And the best thing we can do is to be the voice for the voiceless, is to be the voice for those kids in our community that are searching for that grown adult that can help them be successful and a happy human being.
No, I agree, because if we don't help make that change, then we can't complain about our workforce.
Correct.
Because our workforce is depending on that education system.
Yes.
Crime increases if they don't have a good education system, if they're not able to get good jobs. It truly is a domino effect,
yes,
right?
It is.
So even whether you have kids or not, you should try to get involved at some type of level. The organization that you belong to, that you represent, it is American Federation for Children. Is that a 501c3? Is that a nonprofit or a 501c6?
We are different things. We're 1C3, so like under our umbrella, we have a C4, we have a C3, and we also have a political action committee. So they all have different, but I work mostly on the C3 and the C4.
Okay.
Also, if you're Spanish speaking, we have founded La Federación Americana para los Niños with the intentions to reach the gap of like language barriers. So like we have communication in Spanish. So like don't be afraid to get engaged in any of them. During the legislative cycle, I definitely will be causing trouble. Good
you
trouble,
always
though.
do. It's good trouble. Y habla español, ¿verdad?
Yeah. También hablo español. So I invite you in January 25th. We are going to have a school choice fair. Once this podcast is at the... I wish I would have the address with me right now, but I will send it to all of you and leave it in the podcast under a link. Maybe I come back again before January to promote the school choice fair, but at the EPIC center, it's called EPIC Event Center, and what we're going to be doing there is promoting all the options that we have, like private, public, micro school, homeschool, virtual school. So like come also to have fun. That's in January 25th from 10 to 2 p.m. Get involved, find ways to get involved, and start small or big, however you like, but start somewhere.
Right, and then the money would actually follow the child.
Yes.
So as the parents make a decision as to what's best for their children, then that's where the money goes.
Correct.
And what happens is you create competition. Competition is good, right? I don't look at other staffing companies as they're competitors.
You, right?
It helps me be better.
Yes.
Because they're never going to be me. I'm never going to be them, right? But it makes me become better. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
I'm glad that you brought that up. So like, let me talk about Florida. Florida went from being 33 in the rankings of educational outcomes in math and English. And they became number 3 in 10 years. So like,
wow.
So like
that's a big difference.
Yes, and it didn't end the public schools. See, what it did is made them stronger. It made them better, so the families wouldn't want to leave.
Right.
And competitions, like you mentioned, is a good thing. And we also seen like when parents are involved, but also like the school might be great. Okay, so like I am just talking about the bad ones, right? But a public school might be a great school, just simply not the right fit for your kid. So even if we have, right now we just dream about that, right? Because we don't have great public schools in Nevada. But even if we would have them, like a school choice and the idea of options never is going to go away, because we know each family values different things, and they should have the liberty to access to that regardless of where they come from. Right now, the only ones that have a school choice are the wealthy and well-connected, and the ones that often suffer the most are the Latino students that don't have the funding, the Black students that don't have the funding. Often the people that just simply doesn't have the money to pay for another option and can't get any help from anyone.
No, I agree. What's the best phone number to get a hold of you?
702-351-3448. That's my personal phone. I prefer that you text me first before you call me, and I will return your call. 702-351-3448.
Anything else in closing?
Please follow me under Valeria Gurr. I am on social media, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, and share the message of the importance of a school choice. I'm posting every day, trying to work really, really hard so that we can get the message across that a school choice is something that we need to bring to our community.
Awesome. Once again, thank you so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So hopefully see you guys next time on our next show with Business Matters, Laura Nowlan. Once again, thank you so much to our sponsor, CS Now Staffing. You can get a hold of them at 702-902-2448. Do not forget to reach out to Andrea. Remember, her number is 702-296-6242. Andrea Michelle Munoz. Till the next time.